Hi there. One of my watchers, listeners, had an interesting query the other day, or an interesting issue. What do you do when you've got too many ideas? So, for those of you who have the same problem, let's work it out what you can do when you have too many ideas when you're writing your book. Hi there. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Lisa Oliver, blah, blah, blah. I write for a living. I self-publish for a living. I have 80 titles, I think, to my name. I think I'm writing my 82nd book or something. But, what's important for you is I've been an author for 8 years. I have been a self-published author for 8 years. And I have supported myself as a self-published author for 8 years. So I now like to try and help other people who want to live the same sort of lifestyle as I do. So let's get on with today's query, which is what to do when you've got too many ideas. Most people would think that it's not a problem. I have had people who are saying to me, well, how do you know what to write? They have struggled to find ideas to write one book, let alone have heaps of ideas on lots of books. But the thing is that it's not an issue having too many ideas. The problem with having too many ideas is you've got them all going on in your head and you can't focus on any 1, 2, 3, or 4 of them and actually get them to, into a book status, into actually writing them, finishing them. So that's where it can become a really difficult idea. The first thing is one of the easiest ways to deal with it. If you find yourself, you might be writing a current story and then you have an idea about a totally different story, write it down. Just write it down, have yourself a notebook, something like this thing here, just write it down. And then you'll know that you've got it. It takes it out of your immediate thinking brain. It puts it aside somewhere else so that you can retrieve it at a later stage and you can go back to it when you've finished your book. That doesn't work, though, if while you're writing your one story, that you get ideas about other ones while you're writing, because it can throw you off. It becomes like a freaking paralysis thing. You're thinking about too many things at the same time, and it makes it really difficult to focus on the story that you've got. One of the ways that I stay focused, because I have the same problem, not so much in that I have lots and lots of ideas, but I've actually got lots of books that I like to write or that I have got to write that are on my to-write list. I have a thing about series. Apparently, my readers joke that I'm not capable of writing a standalone. So I will get an idea for a book, but instead of just a book, it becomes a series. And then that becomes problematic because I've still got other series that I need to write. The Balance series, which was my Angels and Demons series, I finally got that finished. Those books were both released in April. And the last 2 books in that series were released in April. I was so pleased because that series is like 3 years old and it only had 5 books in it. But I have a Dragon series that still isn't finished. Well, I kind of think it's finished, but it might get some more. I started a new one, Illuminate. That's a trilogy. I've only written part 1. I've still got part 2 to write. I am currently writing a book in the God series, which is fine. It was a book I needed to write in there. But then I started another new series, my Hellhound Collar series, and I have written 2 stories in that already. And how I left it at the end, I now have 2 stories to write from there. And the same applies to my Arrowtown series, that I have finished 1 book there. Well, that's now, I can't remember how many books are in that series, but now there's at least 1 more to write after that. So it happens. And I could get, and that's without the series I'm writing with JP Sal. And we've decided to write 2 series together. So we're starting that one this month. So, like, there's book ideas, okay? It go on and on and on and on and on in my head. And because I'm a pantser, so I don't actually write anything down, and plot my stories out. I just write them. This interfering, this ping, ping, ping going on in my head is actually really difficult to deal with. So there's a couple of things. I use pictures to stay focused. As you know, my character pictures, like up on the wall here behind me, those are my character pictures for 2 of the books I'm currently writing, which leads me into my next idea, which is write more than 1 book at a time. I seriously wouldn't write more than 3 because you're going to get completely kerfuddled. But you should be able, if you've got a lot of writing time, then you should be able to juggle 3 manuscripts at the same time. And that will help keep your muse busy and active and everything else like that. The problem is trying to remember. Little warning here. I did this once. I was writing 2 books at the same time. One of the books had a character called Ronan. One of the books had a character called Rowan. Do not do that. It makes it far too difficult to remember who is who. And then your editor blooming pokes holes in you because they get really annoyed about it. But if you can juggle 2 or more different things, start with 2 at the same time. Then maybe if you need to expand to 3. But maybe writing 2 different stories will allow your muse to think, oh, well, you're making an effort, and you could get away with just writing down the ideas for the other ones in a notebook to pick up when you've finished the ones you're already writing. Those ideas, they will work for the most part, so long as you're recording your ideas so you don't lose them. And believe me, when you get as old as I do, that losing those ideas happens more frequently than you realize. But the thing is if you're not, the danger comes if you're too many ideas stops you being excited about the story you're writing. And if that happens, that's a real shame, because there's a good chance if that sort of feeling continues, then the book you're currently writing is not going to get finished. And that's really sad, because it was probably a really good story. Remember, you used to be excited about it. So tell yourself that writing your new ideas will come when you have finished the book you are writing. Because sometimes you have to be persistent. There's a video about that. I just did one just before. Persistence is what finishes a book. And sometimes, even though you've got all these wonderful ideas, jot them down somewhere and then put them away. Your story that you started and got all excited about deserves to be finished. So keep writing that one. Those ideas will still be there and still waiting when you're finished. I know this is only a short one this time, but please drop your ideas and comments in the area below. I'm more than happy to help any newbie or existing author with anything to do with writing a book, marketing, or self-publishing. I am living an amazing life, and I want for others to do that too. But the only way that you're going to be able to do it, especially if you are a newbie author, is you have to get your book finished. So please don't be distracted by shiny things and keep focusing on the story that you truly love, you're just being distracted from. So if you did like this content, please hit like and subscribe, because that really, truly helps my channel and I appreciate it. Hug the ones you love and come back and see me again soon. I post 3 videos a week, and if you've got any questions at all, drop them below, and I'm more than happy to give you a hand to create the type of lifestyle that I enjoy. Hug the ones you love, my friend. Bye.